Good afternoon, everybody. Myself Nitina Alice Papan, Senior Speech Language Pathologist of Vizra 2 branch.
And Divya Hari, Speech Therapist, Vizra 2 branch.
So today I am here to say about cognition, share my few thoughts on cognition. So before moving on to cognition, I would like to say about speech. So what is speech? In simple normal language, speech is nothing but formation of words. How are we forming the words? So the air from the lungs will be moving on to the voice box. The voice box will be given adequate modulations and resonations, and then it will be passed to the oral cavity, which is the mouth, where the articulators such as lips, tongue, palate, teeth will form, modify the air to form different sounds, which is then put as a word. So this word then later on will be communicated to different people. So this is how speech works. Anatomically, this is how speech works. But for somebody, if you ask a question, like for a kid, if a question is being asked or if something is being told to them, how are they processing that it has to be done or it has to be answered? Well, so that is where the cognition plays an important role. Cognition is nothing but it's the thinking ability of an individual. So by birth itself, children will be able to perceive this cognition or learn this through different modes like feel, touch, or due to their daily activities. So in their developing stage, they will be learning so many things, and this will be automatically acquired. But there comes a doubt for another doubt will be like for abnormal kids that I will be dealing into later. So from birth, a child will be having developmental stages where this will also be acquired. So normally the speech, before speech the cognition comes. Moving on to the types of cognitive abilities that an individual has. First one is attention. Attention, there are different types of attention. So attention is like something that we have to put a focus on. So different types of attention. The first one will be sustained attention. Sustained attention is like putting the focus on one particular thing for a particular period of time. For example, if we read a book, our complete attention will be towards the reading book only. We won't be distracted, or we will be keeping the focus there only. That is sustained attention. Second type of attention is alternative attention. That is, we ourselves divide our attention to one particular activity, then shift the attention to something else. It can be like the mother cooking at a time and then taking care of the baby. Finishing the cooking and taking care of the baby. So next will be divided attention. Divided attention mainly happens with the multitasking. That is, a person will be able to divide the attention for 2 or 3 activities at a time. So one might be talking on the phone and typing on the computer, or one might be talking on the phone as well as cooking. So these are the examples for divided attention. Next one will be selective attention. Selective attention is like we are selectively preferring one particular activity. So in that we are excluding the distractions. We ourselves is focusing on one particular thing and spending time on that. That is excluding a distraction. But in sustained, distractions can also be there. We might talk to somebody while reading the book also, but still we are focusing on the book. That makes it different. So that is about attention. Second thing is listening. So another cognitive ability is listening, that what we listen is being processed. So if a person has to think, simply they won't think. Like either they have to hear something or they have to see something. So with that they will be thinking and then putting it as a response. Next one is comprehension. So whatever is heard or seen has to be comprehended. That is identified, then has to be processed and put it as a response. So like for speech is not only this just forming of words. It is thinking, analyzing and then forming a response. So all these abilities play individual roles in production of speech. Moving on to the fourth cognitive ability, it is memory. Memory is needed in everyday life in every individual. So basically there are two main memory types of memory, that is short-term memory and long-term memory. In short-term memory, everybody knows that recently done incidents or recently happened incidents will be stored in the short-term memory, which can be recollected like two days before what you had eaten might be there. If you recollect it, or if somebody reminds you, you will be able to recollect it. But after that, like before a week and all, you might not be remembering. So that is where it was stored in short-term memory. It wasn't carried forward to long-term memory. Long-term memory is something that is preserved for a longer period of time. So like we will be remembering our childhood days. That is a very long period of like long back. So that is stored in long term memory, and from the short term memory this can be transferred to long term memory by keep on recollecting the things or keep on reminding this. It will be transferred to long term memory. So these are the two types of memory, and this also contribute for thinking, because for taking a thing from the past or that has happened a long back, we have to think a lot. That is how memory put a effort in this. Next one is problem solving. Problem solving is like everybody, like if some issues happened, we should be able to solve it. So for a kid, if something happens, and they should be getting ideas through different sources. They might be would have watched it from the TV, or they would have heard it from the conversation of others. For example, if a child is losing the key of the house, he doesn't know what to do. For a normal child, might acquire the ideas from different sources like this, as I've mentioned, the TV or neighbor's house. So they might sit over there also. So that is how they solve their problem. So these ideas have to be like in a snap of second it has to come that okay, this has to be done. So this is where cognition and it plays an role in there. Next one is executive functioning. So we know everything, planning, programming, everything was being done. Like if a child is losing the key, he will be like, okay, I can open it, or I can jump on the walls, or I can sit over there and all. But this will be there in the mind. But how are they executing? So that also has to be maintained. So that is how we execute a function. Planning and programming, then it has to be executed well. So that is the next point. Next one will be sequencing. Sequencing is like for a children, they will be able to sequence their normal daily routine that was being carried out since childhood. So now if we ask like what do you do in the morning, they will be definitely able to say in a sequence, that keeping the order. Say that I woke up, I brushed my teeth, I took bath, had my tiffin, etc. So all these in a particular order, if they are able to say, that is like the sequencing have been achieved. The same sequencing can be done with story narration as well, like particular order with the cards or something. If they are able to say it accordingly, then the sequencing is good for them. Last but not the least is reasoning. That is a little complex level of cognitive ability. That is where when the kids or kids as well as adults should be able to reason that has happened, like for something that has happened. Normally we will teach the kids like why do you use umbrella? Because we should not get wet. Or why do you use pen? Because we have to write it. So using this term because or reasoning that ability we have to build it up. Normally kids will be knowing like what is this? It's a pen. What is this? It's a bottle. So it's a bangle. Like this what, where, when question can be achieved very easily, but why question and how question needs a little more time, where we have to put an effort, make them understand this is how it has to be, then it will be stimulated more, and then they will store it in their memory. So all these 8 cognitive abilities play an important role in everybody's life, not only in kids as well as in adults also. So how the cognitive disability happens, or how the cognition is being disturbed. So for kids, like the major causes for disturbing the cognition will be age. Like age is a factor. When the age grows, older people will be getting different types of cognitive dysfunctions like memory loss, lack of thinking ability and all. So due to the age, there is degeneration of cells, and that causes of so much of troubles like this because of this medicines as well. Another cause would be like any RTA, like road traffic accidents or strokes or brain damage happens, then also it will happen, because in brain different places are there, like different parts of the brain contribute in cognitive abilities. Mainly we can say frontal lobe, cerebellum and basal ganglia of the brain are mainly responsible for the cognitive ability. So if some part of the brain is getting affected here, or if you get hit somewhere, or a RTA or a stroke happens to a person, it can definitely affect the cognitive ability. But if it is not severely damaged, we can regenerate the cells over there by stimulating the brain so much, and the thinking ability can be increased. So that is another cause. Then the next cause will be prolonging diseases or disorders. For kids, it can be like autism or ADHD, where the reasons are not yet found out, like why this disorder is happening. But for these kids, if we observe more, we can come to know that the majority of the kids will be having so much of repetition. So why the repetition is happening? Because they doesn't have the capability to think and form an answer there. So that is where the therapist play a major role there. So if the kids are repeating, so that is like because the cognitive ability is being lacking there. So how can we identify this easily is like imitation is a good sign. If the kid is not imitating, or if the kid is not able to copy an action or copy something that is being done in front of them, then it is like they are lacking cognitive ability. So imitation also comes in cognitive ability and they play a role in that. So that is how we found out, like we can find out how it is. Like is it a cognitive disability or it is like normal only. Normally children won't be like, they won't be interested in imitation also. So we have to differentiate whether it is like that or not. If they are not interested in this imitation, they will be doing in some other also. So if imitation is working in one or the other way, it is okay only. So that comes the reasons, and in repetition thing, like we can give a technique also. That is, if the kid is repeating continuously, like if you are asking how are you and the kid is repeating how are you rather than answering I am fine, the therapist will be using the technique like as soon as the question is finished, like how are you is finished, the therapist have to start off with the answer. So before starting off with the answer, first we have to familiarize the question how are you, familiarize to them to answer the question like I am fine. So we start off with the sentence only. So I am fine. Later on, after few familiarization, the next level will be the initial prompt of the answer. So how are you? We have to start, and then they should be able to complete I am fine. This is how we reduce repetitions. That is how they will understand. So the familiar questions they won't repeat at all. For the unfamiliar questions only, then the repetitions stay back. For every questions and scenarios, we have to take them, we have to familiarize more. Then only they will get the idea that okay, I have to answer, I should not repeat. That is how we teach them. And generalization is the next thing that can be worked on. That is because if generalization is not done, inside the cabin or inside the facility, the kid is doing good, no repetition. How about at school? So school like maybe academic based different questions can be coming. We will be training with the normal general what, where, when questions, why or how, and the scenarios over there and all we will be able to explain and familiarize the kid. School scenario has to be taken care of by the parents. So if they get the chance to go to the school, see the things that the kid is doing, academic wise and all, sit with the child, talk to them, and make them understand that this is this, so and so you have to say like this. Then also the repetition won't be happening because they are understanding what is happening. They are knowing what has to be told, what is the answer. So for the normal child also, when they start the academics, everybody have to make them sit and learn. So we will do the support system over there, and then we will teach them. So once the teaching is done, they themselves will be saying the answers. So that is how we have to treat the kids with cognitive disability. So moving on to the next level, like how do we manage the cognitive disability? So it can be managed in the therapy centers as well as at home also. So we here as a team approach, we like behavioral therapist, occupational therapist, speech and special education will be working as a team to improve all level, like in whatever level the child is lacking, we work as a team to make them improve. So here, if the cognitive disability, the child is lacking in cognitive thinking, we will be working on different levels of this as a team. Not only in speech, every session it will be carried out. So we all will be discussing together about the child and then will be carried out. So how can we improve? Is like there are different types of activities. Activities such as puzzles. So puzzles is like there are 4 card puzzle which can be increased up to 8 level also, 8 or 16 also. So for the minimum basic starting level, we can give the 4 card puzzles where the child has to be shown to the initial picture of the puzzle, and then they have to understand, okay, this is this. Then make them do it, jumble it and then make them do it again. So if they are thinking, if they are correlating that this color is going with this color and that has to be joined. Suppose if it is a color or an insect or anything, if they are able to join and correlate and join, then it shows that okay, they are thinking, they are correlating. So they had the memory of the previous image which we had shown. So they are recollecting from them and then joining it. So that comes 4. Once this 4 card puzzle is being done, then we can move on to 6, 8 and 16, where they will be able to do a complex level also by thinking and recollecting the image which was shown before. Next activity can be route finding. So in route finding is also like a sort of puzzle only, where jumbled ways will be given in that activity, where like a cat has to go to his house. So how do we go? So they have to go and see whether there is no blockage road is there, how we can twist and go. So all these thinking has to be done and then made. So first we have to familiarize there also. We have to make them do the activity by themselves later on. So first we have to hold them to do the joining and drawing the lines and all. Then ask them to initiate. If they remember the same thing, then let them do it. If they are not, give little prompts. Not for the entire activity, little bit in between. Once they are thorough with this particular image, try for a new image. New picture where it should be like different. The way should not be same. In the different way, if they are initiating an attempt to do this, then they are definitely doing a good job by thinking and recollecting the things. Next activity can be memory play. Memory play is nothing but we can use picture cards or verbal memory play. So picture cards, how it will be is like we can give 4 cards or 2 cards. Initially go for 2 cards like a cat and dog. We show them, we ask them to name what is it, cat and dog they will say. Then keep it upside down. Ask them what it was. If they are able to say cat and dog, it's good. If they are not able to say cat and dog, we can give the prompt that semantic cueing will say the animal says meow meow or the animal says oof oof. So with that semantic cue, they should be able to identify what animal is it. So there it is like, okay, this thinking is also happening depending upon the prompt that we give. Or we can describe the picture that we have shown. Like if it is a white cat, it was a white animal, white color animal. If it was a black dog, we can say it was a black. So all these cueing will be making them to think and then say what it was. So once the 2 card is achieved, increase the number of cards. It can be 3. So slowly we have to increase the number of cards. Move on to 3, then move on to 5. If 3 is achieved without any trouble, then you can go on to 5. 5 cards, then 8 cards. Likewise, slowly up to 10 cards if they are able to remember and recollect, then it is good. So that is with the picture. If picture is also like if it can be jumbled and given, like in a particular order, if they are able to say, sequencing also comes there. So that is another good activity for that also. But if it is jumbled, like card numbers will be different written in the back side, and if the card numbers are jumbled and kept, and if they are able to recollect that card number 1 was dog, that is another one more activity that sharpens their memory as well. So they are thinking like, okay, card number 1 is dog, where is it? So that is another level. First, when we try for this memory play, it should be plain cards. Then we can put on the numbers and train them for that. Next thing will be finding the missing ones. So normally we used to do the differences, finding the differences and all. In finding the differences, 2 pictures will be given, where the child has to see the first picture and see the second picture and find out what is missing in both the pictures. From the first picture to the second picture. If he is able to recollect that before picture was not having a pink color pillow, second picture is having, he can put the round over that. So this missing activity should not be given in a same page, which is easy to look like this. They have to go behind and then see and come. Once they are going behind, it should not be, suddenly it should not be turned over. They have to analyze the picture, they have to think where and all, what and all is kept, what color it was and all, and then turn the picture. So when you give the pictures, it should not be like more than 5 differences should not be there. If it is a bigger image and 2-3 differences are there, it will be easy for the child to grasp it. Second thing is like missing one. Like if we write a word, we are teaching them the spellings, like first, F-I-R-S-T. So when you teach the word, you can put blanks in between to make them find out the missing letter there. So if they are learning the word, it is improving their memory, recollecting, and then also the spelling as well. So that is another activity which can improve the cognitive ability. Next activity will be colored dot joining. That is like if a red color dot and a blue color dot we can put jumbled in a paper like a white A4 sheet or something. We can ask them to join only the red color dots in the paper. So their attention also improves there. They should be able to join only the dots, and if you can make out a picture like a outline of a rabbit or a apple, they should be able to form this dotted lines into an apple. Then they should identify that it's an apple also, so that improves their comprehension also. Once they are identifying, the speech can also be built up there, because we can ask them to explain what is this, what did you do, I joined the dots and I got an apple, so do you like apples. Likewise, question wise interaction can also be made out from this single activity. Next activity will be picture description. So that is again a complex level of activity. Till then it was like small familiarization sort of activities which the kid has to use their brain. So when they start getting adapted to that logical thinking, these many activities will be helping them to improve that. Once that level is complete and the child is able to do all those things like attention, concentration, memory, things are all fine with them, then we can move on to picture description. In picture description, that also start with a small simple picture like a girl brushing the teeth. So in that picture we have to ask questions regarding what is happening in the picture. So we can ask who is this, what is she doing, where is she standing. So all those questions can be asked and familiarize the kid with the different questions. So who, what, where. So all these things, they will also understand that if the question from this word is coming, I should answer like this. So if it is like who is this, it's a girl. What is she doing? Girl is brushing. So introducing she will be complex for them. So once they are familiarized with the concept of girl, then only we can move on to the grammatical aspects. So first we have to say go with the simple flow and then only make it complex. So if that is a single picture of a girl brushing the teeth in the washroom, the child should be able to say the entire sentence without any prompt. That is the final motive of the picture description. Once this is done, we can move on to the complex level of picture description. Another complex level, this is the simple level. Next level will be two people or two random activities will be happening in the same picture. Maybe one girl is swinging and one boy will be playing cricket or throwing the ball. So the child should be able to say both the actions with respect to the questions that was being asked. When this is also done, moving on to the next complex level will be a bigger picture with so many things. It can be a picture of a park, it can be a picture of a party, likewise. So in a park and all, there will be so many people, so many materials and things and all. So regarding each person or each thing, the child should be able to say by himself or herself. So initially we have to familiarize that the girl is jumping, girl is climbing the slide, boy is sliding down. So everything can be initially familiarized. Child will be responding only when the question will be asked. Later on, okay, see the picture now, you only tell me what is happening in the picture. So here comes the descriptive portion of cognitive ability. That is where they have to think, they have to recall what was being told before, they have to comprehend the question, then they have to frame the answer. That is how the cognitive ability helps in speech. Next activity will be story narration. As I have already mentioned in sequencing, that story narration works well with sequencing. If you particularly go for a thirsty crow story, initially we can give them simple story lines like the crow was thirsty, he searched for water, found a pot with little water. So only the simple English we will use for small kids to make them narrate a story. So once it is done, if they are okay with all this, like it can be like 5 to 6 lines. Once it is done, then they will be added on more words. Like in the printed story version, there will be more words, like sentence level, it will be more. So in that level, we can train them to add on words to the current existing sentence. So crow was thirsty. We can add one day, a crow was thirsty, it was a sunny day. Likewise, we can add more sentences to the existing sentence and then elaborate it, so that they can give a descriptive story when it is asked. From the story also we can ask for the questions. Questions will be like what is it, who was thirsty, what did the crow found, what did he do, then how much water was there. So getting to know that the different questions have different this thing. So how much concept and all the child won't be able to know. So for that purpose, through the story or through the scenarios that we are creating, we can make them understand that this is what it means. So there comes the generalization part also. After that, the next activity that we can go for is like naming therapy. Naming therapy is nothing but categorization. We can give a group of jumbled items like animals, fruits, vegetables, or any common objects or something. When we pick it up, the child should recall that it's an animal. So it comes into the category of animal. Another thing is like a spoon, he should be able to say that it's a common object. So categorization, where they have the ability to think that it's an animal, it's a common object, it's a fruit. So this also have to be familiarized first and then moved on to the level of activity. Next is task sequencing. In task sequencing, what differs is like sequencing, I had told cards can be sequenced, daily routine can be sequenced, like the routine of the particular child. Task sequencing it will be like how question. That is, how do you switch on the TV, or how does mommy make a tea? So this is where we tell the kid to observe the particular thing and then answer it. So how to switch on the TV will be like I have to take the remote, I have to press on the switch and TV will be on. Suppose if the switch has to be on, it also has to be added on to the sentence. So if the child is able to say all these things, initially we have to familiarize. When they do also, we should say the same sentences, make them familiarize, make them repeat, then only they will get registered in the brain. Once it is done, they themselves will be able to answer how question as well. So how questions can be introduced by dealing with their own activities, like how do you brush your teeth, how do you dress up, how do you go to school. So these all can be taught in a sequencing, like step by ways, where the child should be able to count and say or think and say about what and all has been happened. So that comes task sequencing. These are the activities that has to be done to improve the cognitive abilities. So if cognitive ability has a delay or cognitive ability is not functioning properly, definitely it is going to have a great impact on speech as well. That is where I have mentioned before, repetition happens. That is about today's talk. Thank you.
Now we can move on to the questions. So Valvojo Bhavani has asked, in the classroom, kids, how to follow teachers?
In the classroom, kids, how to follow teachers, Andre, I did not get the question first, but what I understood is like how to make the kids listen to the teacher. If that is the case, listening has to be worked on them. First of all, we have to see whether the kid is hyper or not. If he is not able to sit in one particular position and focus the attention on what the teacher is saying, we have to give an occupational therapy service to the kid, make the hyperactivity reduce, and then teach them in the particular session that you have to sit and focus. So that is, we have to be a little strict and make them understand that you have to pay attention to the class. We have to pay attention if somebody is talking to you. So that has to be done while he is getting therapy. At home, the children definitely will be taking leniency with you. So it has to be like, you cannot maintain the same thing at home. So it is better to go to a therapist or make the teacher do the thing that be strict and ask him to pay attention.
Next question is from Anvesh Vanula. What is the most common reason for speech delay?
There are actually many reasons for speech delay, but nowadays the common thing is like lack of stimulation. Usage of phone is the majority of the kids are suffering because of these two reasons. So speech delay mainly occurs because of these two reasons. So lack of stimulation happens when the parents are not able to sit with the child and spend time with the child because of their work. It's not like their fault or I'm focusing on them, because at least 1 hour a day if you are not able to spend a time with the child, obviously the child will be spending the time with the other things around him. So that can be the androids, phones and the toys around them. So if it is just the toys, it is okay. But if it is TV or androids, that is definitely making a lack in the speech development, speech and language development. So if you could reduce all those things, that will be like improving the speech.
Now next question is from Hari Krishna Pura. How to reduce the distractions?
Distractions can be reduced through different activities actually. If distractions are there, then it is lacking the attention and the child won't be active much. So to reduce distractions, we have to actually first the child has to be take the classes or the things that has to be taught to the child has to be taken in a room where there is no distractions at all. If you could do that, that will improve its focus of attention towards the person who is talking. So initially it will be one-to-one in an empty room. In an empty room, if it is one-to-one conversation, then the child's focus will be on us. Even though if they see the wall also, after some time they will be focusing on us. Once the focus on us is improved or increased, slowly introduced one or other item into the room. Like it can be a pegboard, it can be a ball or something. But that time we have to get the control over the kid, telling that you should not see that. Once he follows that, we can introduce more of the things, and that is how we can reduce the distraction.
There is one more question from the same person, that is, my kids are more hyperactive and not sitting at one place.
If you feel like the kid is more hyperactive, my suggestion would be to consult as soon as possible to get the occupational therapy done for relaxing the muscles and all, so that the hyperactivity will be reduced. And if you feel like you are not able to control the kid at any cost at house, then definitely you have to go for therapy.
Next question is from Virendra Kumar Palgani. My daughter is 5-year-old and isn't taking any instructions. How to improve her attention? Please suggest. She also has some speech problems.
Sir, it has to be like if the speech problem is there and attention is not there, I would suggest to go for consultation and take therapy. But as a parent, what you can do is you can improve the attention focus, improve the attention through eye contact first. If eye contact is there, it's okay. If it is not there, use some stickers or sing some rhymes near the eyes, and then make her see your eyes and then pay attention to what you are saying. Speech problem will be there if she is lacking eye contact, because she is not understanding how we are talking and how the lips are moving, how the tongue is moving to produce a word. So if eye contact is not there, definitely speech will be lacking only. So for that, you need to go to a therapist and talk to her. The therapist have to observe the child, then only we can put on the techniques. So first we have to see the kid, then we can tell on the techniques. So at home you can practice the things which I have told. Thank you.